And there it goes, it's popping again.
Really? Because I did this?
I don't know what it is.
Is it doing it again? If you put this in the video, I'm a Will Smith ya.
It's not funny, babe.
It's not funny, but it's kind of funny. Hey, what's good, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got something special because it's my very first pair. It really is. I'm not lying. Our WearTesters Discord community has pushed me into this direction because I'm so old. I'm just kidding, it's not actually that. It's because they actually love the shoes and they wanted to share their love of the shoes with me, and I allowed that by spending 180 bucks. I will say, I've got a lot of thoughts with these. Like, that's the one thing, is that when I see the price tag and that the majority of the shoe was actually made here in the US, like, I'm just really like dumbfounded as far as like how we as consumers and as sneakerheads, we've allowed this to go on under our noses. Like, and I'm not saying that we as in like all of us, I'm just saying that a lot of people like me, like a Nike and Jordan head, like I'm like, bro, this is proof that you could do better. They just choose not to. They really don't think anything of us as consumers or anything like that. They just think that we're money to them. All right, guys, so this right here is the New Balance 993, and it's a really cool shoe. Again, something that I would typically never buy myself personally. The reason being, and I explained this to our Discord community, is that when I was growing up, this is what the kind of like the dorky kids were wearing.
Oh, Squidward.
I didn't think that they were dorky, but it's what the bullies would call dorky. And they would wear these so-called dad shoes, you know what I mean? But back in the day, we didn't call them dad shoes, we called them grandpa shoes. So that's just kind of what a New Balance like this reminds me of. A 574, a 990, 993, whatever, it doesn't even matter. Any of these shoes, they, to me, remind me of grandpa sneakers. To you guys, or the new modern generation of sneakerheads, dad shoes. I do think that they are cool. It's just that it's not something I'd be like lusting over, you know what I mean? Like if I only had 200 bucks, unfortunately, I would go this route. I can't help it. It's just the things that I gravitate towards, but I'm a basketball guy over running. But if I'm a current or modern sneakerhead where prices and all that stuff, where I really want to get the most bang out of my buck, then this is probably where I'd go, because New Balance really does do it well. What's interesting about the New Balance 99 whatever models is that it started back in the 80s, back in 1982, even though the shoe itself, the 990, the original version, was a concept that they were trying to do in the late 70s, and then it just kind of like took them a long time to actually get the product to market. So the original shoe in all gray was one of the most expensive runners at the time, but it was also one of the shoes that New Balance made as their mission to make the best runner possible, with the cost being like not a factor, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, let's not put a budget to this, let's actually just make the best thing we can make, and then we'll make the price on it later. So it ended up being a really expensive $200 sneaker back in the 80s, which sounds ridiculous, because if you remember back in the 80s, that 200 bucks is a lot. The Air Jordan 1 in '85 released and retailed for like $65. Whoa. So yeah, so the New Balance 990 started back in the 80s, and then since then they've actually done revamps very similar to what Adidas does with their V series. So if you take, for example, the 350s, you have the 350, then you have the 350 V2s, and then there's a V3 or whatever, I don't know. I'm not a big like Yeezy guy or anything, but I just know that there's V versions, so that means version 2, version 3, etc. And the 990 is that shoe. So there is the 990, there's also a V1, 2, 3, all that stuff. Those also came a little bit later. If you wanted a deep dive on the series of New Balance and things like that, we're gonna have two links for you down below in the description box. One's gonna head you over to Sneaker Freaker, the other one's gonna head you over to Sneaker News. And I think that both of those did a pretty good job of detailing the history behind all of the models. I'm not gonna go through it because I don't want to butcher it. I'm just going to talk about this particular shoe right here. And I gotta say, these are really comfortable. So for that, I think they did a great job. This is actually a women's version of the shoe. I couldn't find them in men's in my size, so I got them in women's. They are very similar. The only thing that I saw that was like a difference between the two shoes, even though the colors and all that stuff are pretty much on point, is that the women's shoe for some reason has one less lace hole or eyelet. So I thought that was a really interesting feature, and I have no idea what the reason behind that is, because this is going to be the same size as my men's size, like as far as like scaling. So I don't know why it's missing one eyelet, but but as far as what I could see, that's the only change. But the outsole right here is part of their Endurance outsole line. So it's their durable rubber system, super nice grip, all that stuff. We just talked about this on the alternative to the 550. Some people were confused about that. When I mean alternative, I'm talking about within the same brand. If you're talking about just style, like, oh, I want an 80s style shoe, obviously we can get that from any brand, right? So pick one, close your eyes, throw a dart, and you'll find one. But when we're talking about an alternative model within the same brand, that's what we're talking about, is that shoe in that video was, I feel, a great alternative to the 550 with higher quality materials, better tech in there, and for a lower price. You can't beat it. So again, the Endurance outsole is here. It's I think fine. I mean, it's all black, so it's nothing special. It is a performance runner, so keep that in mind, but a lot of people do use these for casual use. Now, the cushion is probably the part that I think is the most interesting feature, just because they don't look like anything special. It is just foam. New Balance is known for their end cap system, which is like a dual EVA system, so it's like a dual density foam, but it is of the EVA variety. EVA actually gets a bad rap. I probably might be the reason for that, because sometimes EVA can be really cheap, but EVA is an interesting material because you could tweak that stuff a couple of percentages up or down to make it a little bit denser or a little fluffier. So I think it's a really interesting material, and this particular version is mad comfortable. Like, if you want something to walk around in, you're gonna be on your feet all day, you're gonna go hiking, you're gonna just go, you know, walking around the city or whatever, going on a jog, this could be one of those shoes. It's like a nice all-around sneaker. If you're trying to just lace these loosely like this, slip them on and go to the grocery store, you could do that too. Mad comfortable. It features what they're calling their absorb systems, and their absorb system is no slouch. It's in here in the back. They actually showcase that by making it gray. So like what we would see if something came from Nike, where you're like, why is there a clear bottom on there all the time? It's because they're trying to showcase the materials or the tech that's inside of the shoe, and that's exactly what they're doing with this two-tone material right here, or this two-tone look with the foam. So the gray material is all of the cushion, and then the forefoot section is the basic EVA. Now, inside of the shoe is this insole right here. It's not a great insole, but it's not a bad insole either. It's gonna have a little bit of rebound to it. It's not ortholite, even though it's blue. It's a nice foam that will have decent rebound, not a fluffy foam where like it's great for stepping comfort. Like, this is a little bit more durable, a little bit more dense, but there's perforations in here, there's art sculpting, all that stuff. These are things that we typically don't get in most retro stuff. I do think that the interior, nobody's gonna care, but this is a really weird way to like make your upper wrap around with a strobe. Like, it's super strange. Like, it's all like fabric, you know what I mean? It's pretty cool. Speaking of the wrapping of the upper and everything like that, they make it a point. Not only is it on the box here where it says made in the US, each shoe comes with a tag that says it's made in the US. The tongue says made in the US, the heel says USA on there, and then on the tag itself it says manufactured in the US for over 75 years and representing a limited portion of our US sales. So that means that the majority of New Balance's shoes are not made in the US or manufactured here, but they do have a good number of them that are. And when they are, they clearly label it. So if you are curious on which ones, just kind of look at the shoe. If it says made in the USA, then it is. Now, it also says New Balance made. I guess that's what they consider the product line within the US is just considered made. Like, that's why it says made on the top. So New Balance's made line is made in the US. Is a premium collection that contains a domestic value of 70% or greater. What exactly does that mean? I can't tell you for sure because I didn't ask anybody over at New Balance. I can only tell you what I assume, and what I assume that means is that the tooling and the outsole, so basically from the midsole down, that stuff is most likely made overseas. And then I believe the upper is made here in the US, so all of these materials I'm assuming are sourced in the US. If they're not, then maybe that's also part of the 70%, you know what I mean? Like some of it is sourced here, some of it they get from overseas. But the main thing is that I believe that from the midsole up is all manufactured here by US workers in US factories. That's just what I assume it is. Again, I don't know for sure. If you know the exact thing, then feel free to let us know and educate us down below in the comment section. Now, speaking of the materials, that's the great smell that these actually have. So when you smell these things, all you smell is quality materials, which I think is great. The entire build is just a really nice suede. This is a shortcut suede too, so it's not a thick suede. And the short-haired suede feels and looks awesome. Like, this is probably better than anything that you would get from Jordan Brand. So we just, dang it, I moved them all the way over there. But we just reviewed the Jordan 7 in some colorway, sapphire fire, and they're 210 bucks retail. These are under 200 bucks, just barely, but they're under 200 bucks. The materials on these things just outweigh that shoe entirely. There is no competition. The underlay materials are all mesh, so this is again a performance shoe at the end of the day. So you know, you got lots of lightweight textile under there. Great for breathability, flexibility, all that stuff. Like, that's one of the cool things about a runner, is that this, you don't need to break it in a lot. Also, I did want to show that they do have some 3M, because again, it is a performance shoe. So we have a little bit of 3M or reflective right there poking out of the toe. The ends on the logos are also reflective. And you got a little one right there on the back of the heel. And then again, the other branding logo right there is reflective. It's a nice sweater.
That's not how we come in.
Oh, sorry, should I wait?
You have to talk about sizing.
My bad. But it really is a nice sweater.
Thank you.
It's from a friend of mine, White Gold Industries, in case you were curious. This is from Sense Apparel. It's my brand. And that's the only other brand that I really like to promote, because it's awesome. If you want comic book stuff at an affordable price, check them out. Now, as far as sizing is concerned, it's a little tricky. New Balance is known for offering standard and width. So make sure that you buy the one that's proper. And I'm talking about when you're in store, because I bought these at the New Balance outlet, even though they were not discounted. So this is one of their shoes that, like, kind of like a Jordan Retro, when you see it at, you know, some outlets, if it's a new release, like typically they'll kind of hold it off to the side, and it doesn't have the discount on there. Unfortunately, this was one of those shoes where this was full price, everything else was like 40% off or something like that. And again, when I checked out, I literally bought them, and then I looked in my bag and I saw that it had the W on it for width, and I was like, ah, crap. And so I bought the wrong pair, even though I'd tried on a different one and all that. It was a mess, and so I had to go return them as soon as I bought them, and I hate doing that. So that took a lot just for me to do that. But I exchanged them real quick for the standard width version, and they fit great. I did go down half a size, and they fit perfect, snug, one-to-one, the way that I like them. If you want your shoes to have a little bit of wiggle room, I would highly recommend going true to size, and you should be fine. Again, if you're a wide footer, they do have width options. So make sure that if you're in store, that you're actually checking out that they have that option available for you, or go onto their website, newbalance.com, and make sure that you click the width option, because underneath the sizes, like size 9, 10, 11, whatever, there's gonna be width. There's gonna be standard and wide. And sometimes they offer them in multiple widths.
Oh, yeah.
And so make sure that you get what's appropriate and stuff. So if you need to, then you can. What do you think about these? I know that you love New Balance. You're wearing New Balance right now.
Them now.
She rocks New Balance pretty heavy. And so, yeah, so what do you think about these? Are these a grandpa shoe?
These are my grandpa's shoes. Pops?
They're literally, yeah, they're Pops' shoe. Pops would wear these, and he'd wear the Monarch and like the triple D wides. Mm-hmm. So rest in peace to Pops. He's awesome.
Oh, I miss him. Anyways.
So, do you like these?
I do. They're very nostalgic.
Really? In like an old man kind of way?
Yeah, yeah.
So like, if I wear these, you're gonna just be comforted
Yes.
by my presence.
Yeah.
That's so
You
weird.
already comfort me with your presence.
Oh, thanks. But again, thank you so much to our WearTesters Discord community for forcing me to go a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, even though I wear New Balances already. I just didn't f with these ones, the old runner styles. And I do think that they're dope. Click the links down below if you wanted to learn a couple of things extra about the whole series itself. I think it's quite fascinating, especially if you're into shoes, because that's a weird line. Started in the 80s, went current until like new versions still come out. And yeah, I think it's really cool. I think that Jordan Brand and Nike should learn a couple of things. This brand's been around for over 100 years. They know some shit. So check them out. They haven't been around this long for no reason. Thank you once again for watching. Thanks for all the support, and until next time, guys, have a good one. And if you wanted to be part of our WearTesters Discord community, there's going to be a link there in the description box as well.
WearTesters.com/join.
Yes, it's not just a place where you can go and hang out with like-minded individuals, even though it's mostly that, but it's also directly supporting the channel in a monetary way, because the funds goes towards keeping this channel alive. That's how we're able to pay for stuff like this, so we can review it. All the performance shoes, all the retros, all the reviews that you see are provided to you by our Discord community.